So we're finally warming up a little bit here today. And yeah, there's a lot that goes on with the whole Aquarium A-Team, our professional group of aquarists, installers, and project management with all of these great aquariums. However, when you roll into a transition to aquarium services, you've really got to do a great job at documenting how the aquarium comes together and how the heck to service and care for it, because every aquarium project is truly different. Different access, different home, different filtration systems, different owners, different distances from the offices, and there's really a lot that you have to do to explain how the system operates and does really well. So here goes that video about the new 700-gallon on the ocean here in northern Broward County. So we're going to do a little aquarium service. One of the most important things to recognize, this is a brand new residence. Owners have not moved in yet. I already put my booties on because that's what they request. So some of the places we go, we're going to have to do that. This is one of them. That's owner's preference. And coming in first, taking a look at the aquarium is really important to see where we are, to do some initial observation. You can see the fish are super healthy, looking great. Look like they're gonna need some food. I can see a little piece of the rockscape over there that's leaned over. I don't notice any other corals that have fallen. I can see some algae on the glass that we're gonna clean on our normal service visit. So I've done some initial observation. There's one piece of little Montipora digitata that fell over with that piece up top. So I'll have to adjust both of those while I'm here. But the fish health looks great. Little algae here, algae there, little algae down the edge. So we're gonna have to clean all that up. I've done my initial observation. The remote filtration room was downstairs, so we're gonna go downstairs real quick. And a lot of key elements with any aquarium is observation. So we're going to get into the remote filtration space. Obviously I open the door, feel the temperature in the room, turn the light on, see what's going on. I look at the sump level. Sump level is exactly where it needs to be. Floss is a little dirty. The clear water scrubber is running. The protein skimmer is operating. Temperature of the water is 78, so the chiller is off. Water's running in the saltwater mixing tank, but in general, things look perfectly fine here. So let's go back upstairs. Typically, like every aquarium, we're going to have floor covering, right? And we have a ladder on site and floor covering. So I'll open the doors, check it out. The floor coverings are here. So these are 3 custom cut carpets we made for the job. And they go here. So each one of them has a spot. And being that there's 3 of them, and we're going to clean the aquarium, we want to protect the floor. So if you drip a little bit, you make a little mess, it's not such a big deal. And the clients will see that you're protecting their floor, you're not going to make a mess. Super important part of our responsibility as the aquarium caretakers. Of course, like every aquarium, we have a ladder that's associated with the aquarium. So this ladder is specific for this aquarium, and you really want to be careful of the millwork and everything associated with the aquarium. There's my paper towels here, and you'll see the activity of the fish. Look how healthy they look. I'll put the cleaner wrasse in and things already, and they think I'm going to feed them. But all 3 of these doors open up at a 90-degree angle. So that's a really big deal. I'm just tall enough to push this one up and to also push this one up. The real great accessibility of the aquarium is super important. I know from reading the chemistry before, nitrates are at about 15 to 20 ppm. Phosphates are still too low, I believe. They're 0.02, and we need that ratio of nitrates and phosphates. If I look at the corals, they're still light. I don't think there's enough nutrients in there, so we'll check that as well. We're probably not going to add phosphates, but we'll make sure that GFO reactors off and things like that. So again, back to observations. First thing I'm gonna do is get some food for the fish. In the freezer, we have this wonderful thing called frozen fish food. And we have it labeled for the client already so they can put them in on the feeder. They got a Friday, so I literally can just open up Friday, put Friday out, and knowing that phosphates are a little low, there's a feeder up top that is a dry feeder. I'm also gonna add a couple more cubes of the myso shrimp, This is the Hikari Mysis shrimp. 2 more cubes of that. Put it in the paper towel. I don't have the cup out right now. You can de-thaw it and put it in. Or being that the water pushes on this aquarium all the way down, I can put the initial cubes on that end, and you can see how healthy the fish are, how the aquarium looks really so good. That food will de-thaw in the aquarium. I mean, heck, I can even push the dry feeder for rotation right now. Things you'll notice above is that we have cleaned up all the framing. It's all waterproofed all the way around the perimeter. It's nice and clean, and it's very quiet. You can hardly hear the water, but there's 2 Abyzz A400s running at 70 or 75% right now, and it's a bunch of water coming in and down through this aquarium. So we already noted a couple of things. First thing I'm going to do is adjust my ladder, deal with the couple of items that fell over. I'll get my service bucket. Sometimes you have just a towel, or sometimes you use paper towels. But I have my bucket there so I can throw it in there if I get it wet. And really the first thing I want to do is deal with that piece that fell over. It shouldn't be too complicated, but I have to reach it, and I think I can do it here. Okay, we pushed the rock back up. You can see how that worked out well. Nothing fell. Matter of fact, that digitata is not bad right where it sits. But as I learned many, many years ago, we try not to make too much of a mess, because if you don't make a mess, then you don't have to clean it up. I didn't make any mess. I made a little bit up here. I'll dry that up. And I didn't drip on the front of the glass. That helps start off, because if you drip on the front of the glass, you're immediately going to start making a mess when you pull the magnets out. So we fed the fish. As a matter of fact, they ate all the food already. And the general rule is they should eat it within 5 minutes, which they've done. And we want some more phosphates anyways. So for the heck of it, I'm just gonna push that dry feeder one more time, Eheim, and let it go and rotate back into the aquarium. The Eheim is definitely gonna need some more food going into it soon, but not a big ordeal. So we have the dry magnet lives in a Pelican box underneath so that it's safe and secure, and you never put it on the floor. You never put it down on anything with the face down, because it's super strong and you don't want to pick up any metals. So we're going to get the dry side here and close the doors back up again. I know where the wet side is. It's in the same thing. It's in another Pelican box above the aquarium. It's clean here. I can put it down there. And there's a Pelican box here that also is above the aquarium, and they live apart. They never are near each other, because you don't want to get them together, and you don't want to get the outside magnet wet with salt water from the inside magnet. So I'll just bring the magnet close, attach them together, and take my dirty paper towel, put it in my service bucket, and then start. I can reach the whole thing. I'm tall enough for that. So again, watch out for the client's property, the tables and everything, and we'll start to clean the glass. I'll usually do just a regular pattern back and forth to catch everything. And normally, which I'll do right now, is do the top area first. You never want to get to the sand on the bottom until the last bit of work, because then you don't pick up any sand. You run very, very minimal risk with cleaning. But you can see algae here. That was a miss from the last cleaning. That mag float is a great tool, and the magnet you have to keep track of and always hold on to it so you don't lose the outside and drop it on the floor or fling it into something. And even when I do these edges, I can ride it up and down close to the edge and do a really thorough cleaning. If you need to do detail work, you can always use the scraper. I think we have a Kent scraper up there, and maybe the cleaning wand too. And I'll literally do all of this cleaning now. And a lot of times I won't interact with the sand too much, but when you get to a point like this, you've got a corner, got to be careful with the magnet. If you start low and the magnet floats on the inside, it's really easy to grab. So you've got it on the corner, you're gonna bring it to the edge. You can even do this wood edge here, carefully so you don't damage the wood, and bring it around the corner quickly and catch the magnet. Pretty easy to do, but you gotta pay attention and do it that same way every single time. Once you learn how to do it, each aquarium is a little different, and you wanna pay attention the entire time, the whole time. And you notice I haven't let go of the magnet, I haven't laid it down anywhere, and being that it's a mag float, if you lose it on the inside, it's gonna go up, it's gonna float. So that, again, one of the greatest products invented in the last 20 years was the mag float. When they first came to America from Baker Magnetics, and I believe it was Holland. The gentleman who patented it, made it, had me test their first big one on an aquarium about a mile from this house. So I actually tested the first giant one on a big aquarium that had 1.5 inch thick glass. So I haven't done that edge as much. There's a little bit of algae there you can see in here. I'm gonna do that after I go to the next side. Now even here, the magnet spun the wrong way. So I have to do a quick flip, it'll go right back on. So I've gotten all the flat surfaces. I haven't interacted much with the sand. So we're gonna go now, and I'll do the bottom edge close on an angle so I can get the magnet low. And you can see it picking up a little bit of algae there, kicking the sand around a little bit. And I can ride this magnet up and down and get the edge by the millwork pretty easily, actually. And when you're going up and down the lengthwise, then I'm gonna do the same here. I'm gonna go up along the edge where the millwork is and try to get that edge a little. Notice I'm doing most of the cleaning on the way up, not on the way down, because the magnet floats, so it has a tendency to grab better and clean while you're going up than going down. I'm gonna do it down here where the sand is, because the sand's kind of sticking. I'm gonna note in my Go Canvas form that we need the small stones to come out from this washout spot here, but I can get the bottom reasonably well. It's amazing what you can do if you take your time. I'll go ahead and do this real quick to get rid of some of the sand. And lightly bring it all the way up so I can get the ladder back and pull it off. It's convenient because it's strong enough on this 3/4 inch glass for this specific size mag float. So again, bring this over. I'll first take the wet magnet off while holding the other magnet, which is the dry magnet. And a lot of times I'll take that wet magnet, shake it, get any extra sand that might be off, look, inspect it in case there's any metal, which there isn't. And then I'll let it drip dry for a minute. I'm gonna actually put it on a paper towel until I put the dry magnet away so that they never touch the floor, they never touch anything that might have a piece of metal on it. So you don't wanna get metal involved. You always inspect it before you start and after you start. I noticed a little dirt on the door. I wipe that away. Somebody must have touched it with some dirt on their hands. And it is your responsibility to clean the millwork and to make certain there's no drips or spills or anything. So we've cleaned the glass. The fish have been fed one time already. The wet magnet is now a lot drier. And normally I'll take it, I'll put it in the box, and again, close only one. There's holes in this Pelican box. It's still ventilating because I've only closed one of the lids properly. And I'm going to feed them again one more time and just get a general look at everything. Sea swirls are running, lights are all operating, tunsies are operating, the top area is clean, there's no big salt creep or any mess. The fish didn't make a huge mess on the glass this week. So I've noticed there's no corals on the floor. Things are looking really good. And that green Gonopora are doing well. Just a little paler. It needs a little more phosphate, I think, and maybe some more nitrate. And we'll look at that ICP test when we get another chance. So before we clean the glass now with the glass spray, I'll close all the lids so that none of the spray gets in the aquarium, even though it's not toxic. Make sure I didn't make any messes on the door. We haven't made any messes on the floor, and all of the lids can get closed down. Again, check the doors, the panels. So I'll get that out of the way. Normally we're gonna have glass spray on site, which we do, of course. It has no ammonia, very important to utilize the right product. Not Windex, because Windex leaves streaks. And I'll usually grab a few paper towels and start. So I'll just give it a little bit of spray. I usually won't spray the whole aquarium. I got some streaks up there that I cleaned up. And you notice I'm doing the same thing. I'm working from the top down. This is a stone down on the bottom. You want to be careful you're not going to get any stone parts on the paper towel, even though that was highly unlikely it would scratch the glass, but you want to be super careful. If it was acrylic, it'd be a different process, but it's glass. Some guys will use cloth towels. We use paper towels. Okay, so everything upstairs has been cleaned. Glass is clean. No corals need to be moved. We'll open it up, we'll clean the door again, put the cap back on the glass spray, and then one by one, I'll roll up the carpets to put them away. I'd rather have them rolled up one by one. That way I can bring them out one by one, not us three in a unit. well, the filtration downstairs. So really works out as a great area to put the surface carpets down and hide them under the system, and then have the magnets segregated so that they don't touch each other, which is very important. One last quick check. There's nothing on the floor. I didn't lose any of the carpet on the floor. Fish look really good. I don't see some significant signs anymore of the cryptocaryon that we had the other week, and even that tank is clear too. So the cleaner wrasse really helped out a lot. So really looked over everything. Things are looking really good. We're gonna be really careful. We're gonna close the ladder back up. The ladder's clean. There's no salt drip on the ladder. We'll open our door back up and carefully put our ladder back in without interacting with the doors and the furniture. It's convenient. We got this great space underneath. It's ventilated through the back of the aquarium. So we'll collect our bucket and our floss for downstairs, and we'll head down to the filtration space. And we're just gonna go over the mechanics. We have the Abyzz A400s are running at 70%, both of them at 70%. There's a reason behind that. We have 2.5-inch drains here. Here's our siphon that's running. It's nice and clean. There's no bubbles coming out of it. There's no noise upstairs. And this is our emergency. You can only fit so much water through an 1.5-inch siphon, pretty much at full throttle. Open, and that's really what dictates how and where we're going to set the Abyzz A400s. We may be able to ramp them up with a little more time, and we'll observe that too. So the protein skimmer has produced a little bit since the last service earlier this week, and I look at it and I say, okay, we want more phosphates and nitrates to build up because it's a brand new aquarium, and we're trying to keep those nutrients coming up. I also note that the GFO reactor is off and still unplugged because we're still trying to build phosphates. So we will not turn that on until we need to. But from a protein skimmer standpoint, this Deltec, I think it's a 3000, is doing super well. And my adjustment knob is here on the back. Because we don't have a lot in here and we're trying to raise it, I'm not going to adjust it, but if I want to adjust more stuff, I'll close it down. If I want to make less, I'll open it up. So, I mean, I could give it a quarter of a turn. It'll probably make more, but that'll be one of the things that I'm going to do. I'll clean the skimmer cup. So basically, it's a bayonet style, right? You turn it a little bit and it comes up. So we'll take that out. You can see a little bit of dirt in there. I'll put the whole skimmer into the sink. I can turn on the water here. And then I'll notice here over at the skimmer neck itself, there is some protein in there. So heck, I may as well clean that too in advance, right? There's some scuds in there, good looking dirt. And I've got my service bucket with me. It's still nice and clean, and I'll throw that into my bucket so that we have it. So we'll clean the skimmer real quick. I have hot and cold water. You can see how nice, oh, the smell of that is wonderful. And I'll usually clean the lid first. And being that we have this nice shelf, I can put it on the shelf, or I can just put it into the body of the skimmer. And I can push that down the sink. You can see it's nice and clean. Usually I just do it with my hand. Sometimes we'll do it with floss if you need to. Depends on how dirty it is, but you know, exporting of the organic matter via protein skimmer. Skimmer serves a lot of purposes. It adds oxygenation. You're pulling foam fractionation, basically, is what that's called. And we're pulling the dirt out. Deltec has this great system with a little cleaning hose. Well, this cleaning hose could have some crud in it too. So I can go in there, open the hose up, and maybe you'll see some dirt come out of there. There you go. See, the dirt came right out of it. I'll put the skimmer back in here and close the valve again and put that where it belongs. And then put the body of the skimmer cup back on. I put it right into the seat, just close it a little bit. Doesn't need to close a lot, just a little bit so that the O-ring is sealed. And I'll put my lid back up there. For the Deltec, I like to put the label out so you can see it. And then I'll usually dry it up so it's nice and clean inside of the area. Again, check the sink, wash the sink out so there's no mess in here. So we've done that initial part. I always will observe and adjust the skimmer first. Floss is dirty, so we're going to take that out as well. I've got new floss right here. I've got my bucket. I generally won't make a mess on the floor, and I'll take my floss. And usually what I'll do is while it's in the tray, I'll roll it up in the tray. We know that it's dirty. I'm gonna take it out. Might drain some of the water out, put it in my bucket so I haven't made a mess on the floor. And then again, checking everything. You're making sure things are clean. The pipes are clean, the area's clean. There's a little dirt on that pipe, there's a little bit on that wall. But in general, things are really clean. But it's very important to do this. You don't have to spend 9 hours doing it, but you really need to make sure things are clean and wiped up. We have in here these little pipes, right? There's a couple of 2-inch pipes. These are your emergency kind of overflow. So if the floss ever got really super dirty, it could start to get this area full. So we'll leave those pipes in there. I'll get a new piece of floss about the right distance. Obviously you can measure it across the length of the sump, and I can rip that floss and I can put that across the back side of the thing all the way to the front side, and voila, floss has been changed. It's in the area that it needs to be. The pipes didn't disappear somewhere. They're still open and ready to receive any emergency water flow if we needed it. You know, the clear water scrubber is running. There's no algae in it growing at this point because it's brand new. We just turned it on a little bit ago. As phosphates are starting to get a little registered, so I'm not going to service it, but we have that part. You gain access here, you can pull the screen up and clean the screen in the sink. That's how it really works. Now let's go over another little bit of the systems. ICP test we do every single month, and we have our array of dosing. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different lines going in there. And our fluids are over here. There's 12 different heads. We have iodine, we have potassium, strontium, barium, iron, manganese. We have rubidium and the liquid mud. We have obviously the magnesium concentrate, some easy carbon as needed, some calcium, and then buffer in here. The labels are falling off. We're going to note that in the file. We should get the new labels. And you really want to make sure the buckets and the additives are clean, but I know this is alk on top, so we'll have to label that too. All that is controlled via the Apex and the dose system. That is already metering in. That should be observed and monitored by the technician and the office. So we'll look at the balance of the systems. We have the UV filter here. This is the bypass. That is set at about 50%. A gate valve, like this gate valve, operates only on 10 turns. All the way open, turning left is 10 cycles. Turning right all the way would be another 10 cycles. So this one is set at about 9 cycles now, open to carry the flow. This one's set at 5. We normally will put it about halfway, so half the water coming through that pipe is going through. This is the automatic pressure switch, so if the pump goes off, the UV goes off. But let's go with the pumps first. We have an RO-DI system here with a float valve right here that operates. There's a solenoid valve here that's pressure sensitive. That's what's controlling the water right now. If I push down, I probably can get water to go in. I can't because it's all the way up. So the float switch and the mechanical switch and the pressure sensitive switch operate the flow. Let's go ahead and cycle it one time. I'll show you. So we'll go back and we can push stop. So stopped. You heard the check valve check. So the check valve, wide check valve went down when the pump went off. Very important. You see the level coming up just a little bit because I've already turned off one of the pumps. And when I do that, that'll affect the flow here. It affects a lot of different things. You can see air coming down it now because the water went down. Look at the air coming out. So you figure, well, you got to check the pumps every time you come because they got to be running. So now we've made a difference. Now it's making noise upstairs, so we're going to turn it back on. Running. Okay, so it's going to take a little bit, maybe a minute or 2 or 3. And that pump going back on, since I haven't touched the siphon, will raise the level back in the overflow box upstairs, and literally the bubbles will disappear as they're doing now. They're starting to slow down already when the flow goes all the way up, and you'll see a big difference. It's already back up upstairs where it belongs. And now we'll go over to the chiller. So this is a water-cooled Aqualogic chiller, and basically the same situation. You can close this down to force more water through the chiller barrel. There's a switch, and this is a pressure-operated switch that will turn off the chiller so that the barrel doesn't freeze. This barrel has a titanium coil inside of it, and that in and of itself will shut it down if the pump goes off and the chiller won't cycle. So to adjust the chiller, you have your Rocon stat right here, which says Aqualogic. It has its set point. It says the aquarium is 77. It's Fahrenheit, set at 82, which we can override right now and bring it down. So if I bring it down to 76 and I push set, differential is 1, and I turn it back on, you'll hear it go on. So now the chiller is running. You'll hear the compressor going to take the temperature down, and it'll start to have water flowing out from the city water that feeds the unit. You'll see it coming out right here. So this is coming out. You'll feel it starting to get hot. That means it's working. Another important item is to really understand the water flow coming out, the temperature coming out. It's a DS5 WC, and you can see that I have the water flow gauge coming in from the city water at a little under 2 gallons a minute. And that's what's coming out here. I can feel the water starting to get warm already, which means it's operating. And we're not going to bring it down to 76, but we're going to go back to set. I'll bring it back up to actually 79, which when we really wanted to go on, hear it go off. That's it. So it's simple to run it, but you really need to know what you're doing with it and setting it, and learning that aspect is super important too. And then we'll look at the RO system. We have the 6 stages, obviously. Sediment, carbon. Carbon is normally what we do. These still need to get labeled. And then these are the 2 DI cartridges here. When it's running, you can push the power on the in and the out. Out is 1 ppm if it was running, but it's not running now. But these are the in and the out, so you'll know when it's running. So those are your HM digital TDS meters. There's the in-valve valves to close it. There's valves under the sink to close off the RO unit to change the filters. Here's your ASO, your automatic shutoff. It's pressure sensitive, so when the switch over here tells it to go off, it also shuts the water so you're not wasting water. And you would see that through the black line here on the RO system. Let's go to the saltwater mixing station. We have a 90-gallon tank here. There's a float valve on here that's mechanical only from the RO system. The tank fills up automatically. We have some high-quality Tropic Marin sea salt right there. And that's about 200 gallons. The hydrometer and all the test kits are in here. When you use it to push water over or to drain water out, there's a couple of valves. It's very basic again. So these are the drains from the sump. The sump we know, literally, it's a huge sump. It was almost 200 gallons. So it may be a 700-gallon coral reef aquarium system, but the total volume is 800 gallons with the sump. So these 2 valves will drain the sump. I can open the first one, but the second one is the one you want to control. So if you want to take some water out of the sump, you can do it just like that. Right there, I start draining water. That's salt water from the sump. And I'll usually close this one first, and that gap between I can open and get a little more water out of it. So now there's air on the line. So you would drain the water through here to the pre-described level, which is about 85, 90 gallons. That would be your full water change if you were doing a full water change. But being that we don't have a lot of nitrates and phosphates now, I'm not doing a water change. Though we have it mixing and going around in circles right now. There's the plug-in for the MagFloat pump that's inside of the sump. And it's on recirc, so water's coming from the pump and around in circles and around circles into the inside of the water tank. And you can see the water spinning around inside there. And that's where you put the water when you want to mix it. So if I wanted to put water, I haven't checked the salinity, but we're going to say it's salt water. We would always check that first. That line goes up, you can see the arrows on the pipes. And that pipe goes around and over to here and into here. So we're gonna show you how that works, right? So that's where you're gonna do your water change. We like to do it mechanically by hand. That way it's harder to mess up if you did it on an Apex or you did it from some other metering way to do a water change. But when we do a water change, I'm usually gonna use the whole amount. It's gonna be the same salinity aquarium at 1026 specific gravity or about 35 ppt. And the way to do it is you just simply open this valve right here, and being that the water pressure isn't really putting it up now. It's still going here because it's got to go up and around and over there. Now you can see it coming out. Boom. There's the water pushing into there from this tank right now. And I could give it a little extra water. It isn't going to hurt anything. From 800 gallons, even if you did this full thing at one time, you're only affecting it by 10%. So what's going to happen is I'm going to close that valve because I don't want to put any more out. And I'm confident that before you know it, with that much water coming out, the RO will actuate, the float switch will go on. Because I took the level of the water below the mechanical float switch in the RO mixing saltwater tank, the black discharge line from the RO unit is running out. You can see the water coming out of it. So it's working. Just a little bit of water coming out. That's the wastewater coming out from the RO system. So that'll go on automatically until the float switch says go off, which will shut off the ASO and stop the RO unit from running. Again, all of the test kits are here. You got nitrate, nitrite, ammonia, magnesium, pH, calcium, carbonate, hardness, and alkalinity. Your refractometer is here. All the test kits are here. Your HANA checker for phosphates is in there. And that's, again, an extensive amount of time to do it, but you're willing to do all the chemistry tests at least once weekly until you get the trends under wraps. And you should be in good shape at that point. Fan is here ventilating. This is the AC coming down. So you're always looking at all of it when you come in the space, not part of it, but all of it. You can see a little dirt coming through here on the floss already, just from the cleaning, just from algae getting put up there. I've checked the UV to make sure that's running. And in case we make a mess or something, I have this wonderful mop. We can clean the floor up easily with a mop. We like having these things when we're doing a professional installation. I don't like leaving garbage on the job site, so every time you come to do a service, you take the garbage with you in your service bucket. When you got here, you noticed it was clean. Well, when you're leaving, you want to make sure it's clean as well. So everything is in place. You've gone down your checklist. The skimmer is running. The water pumps are both running. You've double checked that, the UV, the chiller, the temperature, the RO system, the saltwater mixing vat. Your test kits are put away and cleaned up. Your garbage is with you. You're taking your garbage with you. And yeah, heck, you could even do a little more additional cleanup. I could see there was some dirt at the doorway, but I think all of it is your responsibility. If there's any dirt or anything on the way in or the way out, yeah, you want to clean this stuff up. That is your job to clean it all up. And that's how you do it. Another stunning, brand new living coral reef aquarium by Reef Aquaria Design. Super awesome. And remember to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week on the direction of building another really incredible aquarium for our clients.